Welcome to Victory Formation, where Georgia love runs deep and Tennessee love runs deeper with me. Welcome all the cast in. First, I want to welcome an improving, unfortunately missed last week, Mr. Philip Diane. How's it going today, Philip?
Doing great, Randall. How are you today?
I'm good. As I bring y'all up, give me one impression that somewhere along the way during the show you'll be talking about.
I tell you what, Randall, I want to talk about probably just the separation, I think, between Alabama and Georgia and the rest of the field right now. I think that, as we saw yesterday, 2 dominant wins, and I think it's just up to them to get it done. It's all down between them now.
Good. I think you've got it. Geoff Davis? Where'd I get that from? Jeff Miller, feeling better this week too, and on better Wi-Fi. Welcome back to the show.
I appreciate it, Randall. I think you kind of got me and Robbie confused there, but I'd really not ever do that again if you don't mind.
Well, I've been reading a book about the Civil War. It might have been that too, so I don't know.
But as far as college football goes this week, similar to what Phil said, I think the disparity between how good Bama and Georgia have been is very large. They are obviously 1 and 2 in the country. Which one's which, I don't know. Oregon fell off, so they're just pulling away from the pack. It's going to be an interesting rest of the season. I just don't think anybody's close to those 2 teams.
Arden Scroggins, the world's favorite Bulldog.
Well, since they both brought that up, I'll go with this. Something we can talk about. Is Cincinnati good enough to beat Penn State or Iowa now that they've got Notre Dame off? Can Cincinnati be good enough to be the number 3 team in the country?
That's a good question. And when we get to these first, I don't think Alabama and Georgia has pulled away. I think there's a third contender, and it may be Cincinnati. We'll get to that in a minute. And joining us from 3R Sports, the star, because I'm on the show, Rods is on the show. I'm going to tell you, we stink. The star of 3R Sports, Mr. Robbie Davis.
Hey, thanks for having me. I usually don't start drinking this early on Sunday mornings, but, for you guys, I will.
Geoff just rolls it all the way through the night, through the morning. It never stops till now.
No, I definitely think Alabama and Georgia have separated themselves. As you said, we'll get to Cincinnati. Lane Kiffin showed he's still immature as a coach, as a play caller. Oh, I'm going for it on 4th down no matter what. And he gave his rationale. It was just him trying to prove a point, and the point was, I don't belong on the field with Nick Saban again. Alabama looked great. Georgia, good God. We talked about it all week. We thought Arkansas was going to cover. They didn't even score. That defense is manly. I think Georgia and Alabama play twice this year. I think whoever loses in Atlanta, there's going to be a rematch in I guess it's L.A. this year. Maybe I can't remember what the championship game is, but I think they play twice.
I don't disagree, but let's go ahead and start with the one team that I think can compete. I'll put it this way. I don't know if they can compete, but I will call them the 3rd best team in the country in my mind. Penn State beats an Indiana team we were all hyped up about last week. So let's start there. Penn State shuts out Indiana. Is Penn State the 3rd best team? And we'll start with Philip Dye and then just work our way around the horn.
I'm not sure if they're the 3rd best or not. We're going to find out next week. Penn State, I believe, playing Iowa next week, and that's going to be a huge game to decide a lot of stuff. Penn State was pretty dominant yesterday with their defense with shutout. Iowa just manhandled Maryland Friday night. So I think, once that game is settled, I think we're going to have a clearer picture. Looks like Cincinnati's got their way through there. So right now, I believe I'd put Cincinnati at the number 3 spot just for the sheer fact that we've got that game going next week. And I think the winner may jump Cincinnati after that.
The world's favorite Bulldog, same subject. Add one little to it.
Well, I think
After next
Iowa.
week, does it get decided?
I think Iowa right now could be, when the rankings come out, I think they could be the number 3 team with the impressive win over Maryland. Maryland, everybody's all hooped up about their offense, how good they were, and Iowa just kept getting turnovers, shutting them down. And then I think this week you'll see Cincinnati at 5 and then Penn State at 4. And then you got the big matchup next week.
Robbie Davis, you were a big believer in this Indiana team early in the year. Does that victory carry any weight with you?
I was wrong. No, it Indiana just has fallen off. I guess they can't handle the hype. I think Cincinnati's resume is the third best. Actually, the resume may be the second best or the best, actually. But the eye test gives you Alabama, Georgia. Any order you want to put Iowa, Penn State, Cincinnati right now doesn't really matter because Iowa and Penn State are going to play. But I agree with Arden. That Iowa win Friday night was really impressive.
Geoff Miller, you're the Georgia guy. Well, you're a Tennessee guy, but you believe in this Georgia team. Is anybody within striking distance of Alabama and Georgia?
I don't think anybody's within striking distance as of right now. It just doesn't appear to be. Georgia's defense is too stifling. I don't think that there is a team. I don't want to say this, but I'm not even sure Bama can get down the field as many times as they're going to need to play with Georgia. I'm really big on Georgia this year. That, like I said, that defense is just stifling.
That's a rat poison right there.
As far as the 3, 4, and 5, I agree with Robbie. There's no point in kind of labeling that right now. If you're going to force me to, Penn State's going to stay at 3 after the Oregon loss. I don't think there's any reason to move them down. Iowa's going to be 4. They play next week. We'll figure that one out. And then whoever loses that one, and I do believe Iowa's the better team. They have played in some pretty big games as far as they're concerned, especially the Iowa State game, and they played well doing it. So I believe you'll see Iowa at 3 after they beat Penn State next week, and then followed up by Cincinnati at 4. I think that's where we'll end up next week.
All right, getting around the top 25, Auburn wins late against LSU. Clemson squeaks one out against an undefeated Boston College team. Oklahoma State beats Baylor. Robbie Davis, I'm going to start with you on this one, though. Florida lays and everybody can say, Kentucky's a good football team. Florida will wrap that game in a bow for Kentucky. Is this the point we might see more Anthony Richardson moving forward?
I think so, and I think a little bit out of necessity and a little bit out of trying to change the narrative. Dan Mullen somehow lives in this kind of on this pedestal where he is above criticism from the national media. If Georgia did that, Kirby Smart would be crucified for losing a game like that. Somehow Dan Mullen just skates by and, he's a fantastic play caller. It must have been the play. It must have been something besides just he didn't have his team ready to play. Mark Stoops is a really, really, really good coach. That Kentucky program is good. But you're the University of Florida. You should not – I don't care how good Kentucky is. You should not be losing to Kentucky. It's the same way Tennessee should not be losing to Vanderbilt. It just should not happen. So, yes, I think Richardson plays more, and I think it's going to be, hey, that's 2 SEC losses now. Georgia looks like a heavy hitter. They don't play Alabama in the regular season. Florida's not getting to Atlanta.
Very, very, very good point. That almost clinches Georgia's spot in the SEC championship in my mind. Arden, what do you make of the Florida loss?
Well, I have to agree with Robbie there. I don't think Mullen had them ready to play. And the quarterback issue. I'm not big on Emory Jones. He can run with the ball good. He makes some good passes, but he just can't do it when the pressure's on him. Richardson, I think you'll see more of him. You got to get the offense going. Florida's got a pretty good defense. You got to get the offense going there. That's what's killing them.
Geoff Miller, quick word on the game.
Yeah, sure. Florida, they just really laid that egg. I thought they were a better team than that. Of course, I made the comment earlier this week that with the way Tennessee played them for at least a half, our lack of depth killed us in the second half. But I think we played them to a 17-14 halftime score. And we just know that Tennessee is not where we want them to be right now. But if they can play Florida for a half like that, Kentucky did exactly what they had to do. Like Robbie said, Mark Stoops is a great coach. He had him ready to play, and they took it to Florida. I think that kind of is going to set the tone for Florida the rest of the year. They're just not quite what we thought they should be or we thought they were. So, again, Georgia's a team to beat in the East, and they'll take care of business with Florida.
Phil, let me add a little more to it for you as we move into the next subject. I'll let you get your Florida word in too. Oklahoma State beats Baylor. Ohio State beats Rutgers. Tennessee over Missouri. Texas over TCU. I want to get those scores out there so we can focus on the rest of them. Phil, can you finish this off on the Florida game and open us up on Alabama crushes Lane Kiffin's hopes and prayers? So Florida, then into Alabama.
Well, I think, first of all, Kentucky crushed Florida's hopes and prayers as well last night. That game could have been a little worse. I think there was a really bad missed pass interference call in the end zone that could have given Kentucky another touchdown. So, as everybody said, Florida just laid an egg. They weren't ready to play. And, I think whatever fan you are of in the SEC, you're probably not a Florida fan, so go Cats. So, going on to the next game, though, Alabama, man, they just came out. I actually thought Ole Miss could hang with them a little bit and score some points. Lane Kiffin came out early and often and showed, as Robbie said earlier, what an immature coach he was. I think you got to take some points early against Alabama if you want to stay in the game. He decided he was not going to punt, and it backfired on him. And you just can't play backyard football against Alabama and expect to do any good. And it showed yesterday, and Alabama just rolled.
Geoff, give me the one thing that Alabama, you talk about Georgia's defense. Now give me the one thing about Alabama that makes you go, this is the reason they win the national championship.
I think it's the thing it always has been. The coaching from Nick Saban, the ability to switch directions and him read a game, I think it's what always has given Alabama the leg up. I mean, not to mention they get 5 stars for days and they have all the talent in the world, but all the talent in the world doesn't make you a good football team. So I think Nick Saban is that X factor that really comes forward during these games because he's just a heck of a coach.
Arden, anything to add about the Tide while you got your big Georgia Bulldog shirt on?
Hey, they look good. And like I said, they're number one until somebody beats them. I mean, I blame a lot of that game on – I don't blame it on Ole Miss's players. I blame it on the coaching staff. But he played right into Saban's hands, and Saban showed him.
Robbie Davis, Alabama Crimson Tide. It's not hard to break them down, but tell us what you think. And I'll hit you with the second question for the next subject.
Ole Miss brought a talented football team into that game, and for them to play a 3-2-6 defense all game, and Nick Saban just said, okay, if that's what you're going to do, we're going to keep running it up the middle and just time of possession. First, they just ate away first down. Like, if you're going to tell me what you're going to give me, I'll take it over and over and over and over and over again. And Lane didn't adjust. That was probably the most disappointing game from a play calling, from a head coaching perspective that I've seen in a long time, as much as it was hyped up. And it was just, it looked like me playing NCAA football out there.
I agree. Now, Robbie, while I got you here, we've talked about this team ad nauseum on 3R Sports. And yes, I did get a vocabulary book, so the as nauseum is me. But we have talked about them a ton. Raj, of course, graduated from Cincinnati Law School, and he's a big proponent of the Bearcats. They did nothing yesterday to bring my hype about the Bearcats down.
Oh, no, I completely agree. Notre Dame's a team that they've got some good wins this year. Cincinnati dominated them start to finish. If they don't lose the rest of the season, I don't see any way the committee can keep them out. They have done now. Indiana has fallen down some, but they scheduled Power 5 teams on the road. They have beaten Power 5 teams on the road. Notre Dame, I think, has been in the playoff 2 out of the last 3 years or something along those lines. Like, that's a good football program. Brian Kelly's a good coach that on the road. Cincinnati wins out. Let's put them in. Well, not let's put them in. They deserve to be in.
Phil Dye, you've also been the other kind of, I think Cincinnati gets their host on one of these shows. So has your opinion changed? And are the Bearcats going to get there? Also, guys, we're running a little late. I want to give you one more subject after we get through this one. At the last subject of college football, I want you to think about it. I'm going to give you some scores. Oklahoma, Ohio State, all the other teams. We pretty well have defined who's the 3. You give me your 4. First of all, Phil, let's go with Cincinnati, and we'll come back to the 4. I just want to have everybody have time to think.
I think that definitely Cincinnati's still got a great shot to get into the playoff. They've done what they needed to do. They've scheduled good teams. Just because Notre Dame's down a little bit this year, not their fault. Notre Dame was undefeated going into that game. They went into South Bend and beat Notre Dame on their home field. Not many people do that. They just don't have a whole lot more to prove, I don't think. And the way that other teams are falling down and as good as they look, that Ritter kid is phenomenal at quarterback as well. And he can play, and the whole team can play, and they're well coached. I just think that they are definitely in if they win out.
Arden, you got anything different?
I agree with that. And if you even want to go back to it, you might as well call the bowl game last year for Cincinnati a road game when they played Georgia in Atlanta and almost won the game. We had to rely on the last second field goal. Cincinnati runs the table. I think they've earned their way in. And like I said, I think they're a top 5 team, if not top 4 right now.
All right, Geoff, drive us home.
There's not really much to add on the subject. Cincinnati's played well all year. Like they said, they're well coached. They played good on both sides of the football. They went into South Bend and kind of did what they wanted to with Notre Dame. They look like they're the real deal, and they definitely earned their spot especially if they win out. So nobody should be sleeping on Cincinnati this year.
Getting around other teams, of course. Oregon loses last night, double overtime to Stanford. And if you didn't see that football game, that was a well of a football game. I think Robbie Davis had something on that. He's kind of a West Coaster with me. Oklahoma beats a very good Kansas State team. I think for me right now, it comes down to Oklahoma. Can Oklahoma wins out? That's my opinion. If Oklahoma wins out, then we'll have the Penn State, we'll have the Big 12 champion. We'll have both Georgia and Alabama, not the Big 12, Big 10 champion. And the Big 12 would only shot to get a team in is Oklahoma. The ACC has none. I don't think the Pac-12 has none. So, Geoff, who's your number 4 if you had to get somebody else in there right now?
if I had to get somebody in there right now, I would have to at 4. I'd have to go Iowa. That's my pick. They're good on defense. They played well. They played in some big games. I mean, it's no disrespect to Cincinnati or anybody else, but right now, to me, Iowa is that team.
So is your 4 Georgia, Alabama, Cincinnati, and Iowa?
No, it would be Alabama, Georgia, Penn State right now, and Iowa.
Phil, give me your same thing. Who's number 4?
I kind of agree with you, Randall. If Oklahoma can run the table, I think they've got a shot at getting in just because of name recognition and who they are. One dark horse that I really like right now that nobody's brought up, still undefeated, still rolling, and had a great game yesterday. Michigan Wolverines are playing good football right now.
Yes.
And I think that if anybody can come out of that Big Ten this year, the way they're playing, they may be possibly the sleeper that can sneak into that number 4 spot if they can run the table.
I knew I forgot one score, and I kept looking for it. Michigan over Wisconsin, 38-17. I've gotten Phillip. Am I down to Robbie? Has everybody went on this subject? All right, Robbie. Who's the 4?
So we started off the college football season with, oh, how refreshing. Ohio State got beat. Ohio State's out of it. We're going to have some new blood. Well, I think it's ultimately going to come back down to Ohio State and what they do to the Big Ten. Ohio State, if Cincy runs the table, then Ohio State's out of it. But I think Ohio State's going to play a role in playing Penn State in the regular season. I think they beat Penn State and then playing Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. And also Michigan, that's a great sleeper pick. They are playing really well. But what in the hell are they doing wearing blue pants? They have the best uniforms in sports. Just keep it simple. White top, yellow pants. Stop it. Stop with the helmet stickers. Stop with their stupid uniform changes. But I digress. But, I think Ohio State is going to ultimately ruin the Big Ten's chances of making it. I don't think a Big Ten team makes it. I think Oklahoma, they don't look great, but they're staggering. They're going to stagger through the Big 12. I think they win enough to get in. But, yeah, I think the Pac-10 ACC are done.
All right, guys. Anybody got anything else on college football? Are we ready to move on to
Don't
NFL?
count out Michigan State. Don't count out Michigan State. They're playing good football too.
Agreed. All right, guys. If nobody else has got anything on college football, let's move on to the NFL. DraftKings, gambling, and departure right before I leave for church. Brother Ron, I'll see you in a moment. Start praying for me now. All right, let's go back to our old layout. You know what? Let's stay with this layout and see how it works because we're kind of in a round table here. Let's start with, we're going to go game by game. If you've got gambling on it, shout it then. If you got DraftKings on it, shout it then. There may be a couple of games I just say there's nothing of interest in unless somebody's got a gamble pick. But let's start there. Has anybody got anything for Indianapolis and Miami?
This is just the game of injuries. I mean, Indianapolis comes in limping. I think Miami too is still hurt. I think Indy's a better team. I think Indy's a better team. I think Miami's better coached. I think it's going to be a close one. I would stay away if I was gambling on it.
All right. I don't see a lot of DraftKings there either.
No, I don't see no DraftKings.
Next, a game I do have one DraftKings or several DraftKings picks in. Let's start with Mr. Phillip Dye. Houston at Buffalo. What do you got there, buddy?
Well, I think Buffalo, obviously, you start with Josh Allen right now. Their running game, it's so mixed up, and they're sharing carries up there so much, it's hard to start anybody in their running game. But Josh Allen, I expect to have a big game against this Houston defense today. The receivers should as well. Stephon Diggs has been fairly mediocre so far this year. I expect a big game out of him. But the one deal on DraftKings that I would like is look to Brandon Cooks again. That guy has put up big numbers. I think he's probably around third or fourth in fantasy right now as far as wide receiver points, and he just keeps doing it because he's the only guy they have to go to. So if you're looking for somebody today, I'd say Brandon Cooks.
All right, Geoff, who you got?
I'm not going to hit on the big players. We know who they are. I think if you're looking for a cheap wide receiver in that game, I've been playing in the last couple of weeks. He's caught some football. He's got some touchdowns, I believe 1 or 2. And Gabriel Davis is only 3,400, I think, this week. And he's been making some plays. So I think at 3,400, if you're looking for a cheap receiver, that's a route you can go there.
Arden Scroggins?
Geoff steals my thunder there. I do like Gabriel Davis' good play today. I've been playing him also some. I think you'll see Emmanuel Sanders fall off a little bit. So, and then you got your big names. And other than that, I mean, Buffalo's defense, if you want to pay up for them.
Robbie Davis, our gambling expert, pulls in 17.5 and 47. I like the 47.
Yeah, I mean, my wife makes a guest appearance getting ready for her dance practice.
I got dance practice.
Go Dance, River City Media is a sponsor of that. I don't care. I've been on record saying Houston's the second worst team in the NFL, but they're still professional athletes. 17.5, that's a lot of points. I think Josh Allen lights them up. I think Houston gets a few garbage touchdowns. I think they cover, and I think it goes over also.
All right, we'll stay right here with Robbie, and then we'll come back through. I think this game is a very interesting one from a gambling side. I don't know if I have anything on DraftKings, but Chicago -3, the Detroit Lions at 41. My first gut was I like that over at 41.5.
I like the over, and I'll tell you what. And just kind of my theme from the last comment about professionals showing up for work. Detroit's not very good, but they have played hard. That coaching staff has them playing hard. I think Detroit and Matt Nagy's a sinking ship. I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit wins this game outright. They just play harder, and they're building, and Chicago seems to be falling apart.
I would tend to agree with Robbie on that one. Phil, do you have anything that can sneak out? Because I do have one sneaky play in here. I don't know if it's sneaky, but I know it's not sneaky. I do like DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would say. DeAndre Swift, he's one of the top running backs right now in fantasy. You're not going to get him cheap today, though. So I don't know if it's worth to play against a pretty good Bears defense. You can't go with Allen Robinson right now. He's too undependable. He's had 4 straight games of under 40 yards. So I really would just kind of stay away from the DraftKings on this game. But I do kind of disagree with you on the over-under. I like the under in this game. Chicago's got a good defense and a terrible offense, and they should be able to hold Detroit down a little bit. But I don't see them getting more than 20, 21 points either. So I think this game ends up in the 30s and goes under.
Nice call. That's why we're here. We all can't agree all the time. I'm with you. I would say I do like the over, but there's a good under. Your case is valid. Geoff Miller, come on, give us one of your famous sneaky plays.
Well, start with the betting side of things, I agree with Robbie. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Detroit just flat out wins this game today. That's probably the route I'll go there.
But if Detroit wins, it is an over game, right? You have to go.
Oh,
Detroit.
yeah, definitely an over game. Definitely an over game. What did you say, at 41?
41.5.
Yeah, that's too low. It's definitely an over game. And as far as sneaky plays go, I don't know if it's sneaky or not. He's kind of emerged as their number one receiver there. But Cephas is only $4,000. If you're looking for a guy in a price range right there, I realize he only got one target last week. But over the first 2 weeks, he got, I think, 6 and 7 targets. So they're not scared of throwing the football. He's being looked at. I don't expect that one target from last week to stick again. So look for Cephas if you're looking in that $4,000 range.
I know Arden Scroggins has got to like his dog DeAndre Swift in this game.
Oh, DeAndre, I mean, if you want to pay up for him, he can catch the ball great out of the backfield. He's not cheap this week, but I don't think he's a bad play. I do worry because the Bears do have a good defense. I think the Bears defense is a good play. I think you can see them get a touchdown today. And I think Justin Fields has a good game. I think the Bears win this game. I think Justin Fields just went against a really good defense in his first start last week. I think he runs around on this defense some and has a pretty good ball game, and I think the Bears win the ball game.
All right, we'll just hold you right there, Oregon. I like this ending on one subject and starting with the other one. It makes it easier for me to remember where we're at. Let's just move on to who in the world and Carmen Sandiego and who's going to play wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are a 6-point favorite, total of 45.5. I do like those cheap wide receivers because last I knew, and I think it's official, A.J. Brown and Julio's out in that game.
A.J. Brown and Julio are both out. I think if you can pick the right wide receiver from this game from the Titans that goes off, that could be your Millie Maker team. And Chester Rogers seems to be on the same page with Tannehill. And I think Chester Rogers is a very valuable play today. And I'm not sold on Derrick Henry having a good day just because I think the Jets make these other receivers step up and put 8 and 9 in the box.
My dart throwing buddy from Hickson, Tennessee, Geoff Miller.
I think I said it earlier this week, and Robbie and company weren't very happy with me on Thursday, I think it was. But the Jets have a half decent defense. Not gonna say great, but they're pretty good on that side of the football. If they stop Henry, which I think if they're smart, they'll key in there. I don't see the Titans winning the 6. I'm going the Jets here today to cover the 6-point spread in a fairly low-scoring game. And like you said, the cheap wide receivers are a play, but I've been kind of on the fade for this game all week. I think I'm going to leave this one alone on the DraftKings side of it.
Robbie Davis, you're the Titans expert. Tell us why we're all wrong.
You know what? I don't know what more I can say that Geoff didn't just say. Oh, hey, just stop Derrick Henry. Yeah, that makes sense. No one's tried that before. Yeah, they're gonna load the box. He's gonna run it still. That he's just a monster. He's gonna keep getting forward yards after pound them. I don't do DraftKings or daily fantasy, but I agree. Rodgers would be a good play today. They're going to get the play action. It's going to open up as it always does because, yeah, you can say you're going to load the box and everyone's got a plan to get punched in the mouth. I still think Tennessee covers. The Jets are horrible. I would still I don't know. I imagine Henry's probably too expensive to play in a game like this. But I would look at Rodgers for a good value play.
I'm going to disagree with everybody real quick. I think the play at wide receiver is Westbrook.
I agree.
I think that's the play, but we'll see. All right, Robbie Davis. I want to get your thought on this game before we go much farther, because I think it is the game that maybe defines Kansas City's season. There is no way the Chiefs can go 1-4. So I think in my head, this is the week the Chiefs just get 1-3, get better. But it also means the Eagles are 1-3. I think both of them are good football teams. Right now, the Chiefs are 6.5, total 54. Break that down for me. And also remember, I might think the Eagles are a good football team because I saw them destroy the Falcons, and we've established the Falcons are in between 30 and 32. So go off, Robbie Davis.
So this may be the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career that there's pressure on him, which seems crazy because he's played in 2 Super Bowls. But this is a Chiefs team. They've yet to have a lost season with him. If they lose today in that division, that climb becomes monumental to get back in it. They've got to win today. They're, I think, 6.5-point favorites. I think Philly's a good team. It is imperative they get the lead first. They cannot play from behind. I think Kansas City wins. I think they cover. But this is a very interesting game, and I think it's a game the Chiefs cannot lose if they have hopes of making the playoffs and making a Super Bowl run.
I agree. Philip Dye, I think this game is right in your wheelhouse. I may be reading you wrong, but first 3 weeks, I think you're going to tell me Jalen Hurts is a play today.
I think you're wrong on this, Randall.
All right.
I think Kansas City rolls today. Absolutely rolls. Philadelphia, if you look at what they did Monday night, they carried the ball 3 times with their running backs. They've got to start running the ball more. Obviously, that did not work against the Cowboys. I think Kansas City just comes out. Andy Reid went to the hospital last week after the game. They're desperate for a win. They're going to come play for the coach today, and I think they're going to win probably by 2 scores in this game. I take Kansas City big today.
All right. Good read. Next man up.
Definitely agree with Phil there. Kansas City's gonna get it done today. There's too much talent on that team. Again, I said it earlier this week that I don't think this is make or break right now. I think it's too early in the season for that. I don't think that Kansas City needs to worry right now. Now, of course, moving forward, lose this game, you start to look that way. But there's just too much talent on that team. I think they're going to roll. They're going to more than cover the spread. With that being said, on the DFS side of it, I don't hate the Jalen Hurts play today for the exact reason. And you're right, Phil. They need to start running the football. But today is not that day. They cannot run the football today and win this game or even come close to it. So they're going to put the ball in the air, try to keep up with Kansas City. A whole bunch of passing. So I don't disagree with the Jalen Hurts play today.
My favorite play coming out of this game may not be either one. May not be Jalen Hurts. If I have one thing I'm going to play, and I don't know which one it is, I don't know if I can get out of not playing Kelsey or Hill. But what's your call, Arden?
Travis Kelce, he just puts up big numbers every week, it seems like anymore. I mean, everybody gets so scared of Tyreek Hill, they're trying to protect it deep, and the middle opens wide open for Kelce. I do agree with that Jalen Hurts isn't a bad play. I think he gets a lot of garbage time fantasy points today. I love Kansas City to cover the spread. I think Kansas City jumps out on them 2 or 3 touchdowns. Hurts is running around throwing the ball. So, yeah, but I think Kelsey's the safer play than Tyreek, even though Tyreek's got a higher ceiling than anybody in the NFL probably.
Do you know how terrifying it is that we all like Kansas City to cover?
Good point.
So people out there betting, take the Eagles.
Right.
The Eagles and under seems to be a consensus among this group now. All right, the next game. I know this game is a good a good DraftKings game. I know this game is a good game. I don't have one grip on it, except I think Dallas defense is a good play. Carolina Panthers, Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are a 4-point favorite. The total, 51.5. Arden, start us off there.
I actually like the under in this game. I think Carolina does have a legitimate defense. I think you can see this game being a 24-21 ball game, 24-17. I don't really love a lot on the offensive side of the ball. Dallas's defense could be a play. They're playing better. Carolina's defense is good. I mean, personally, you can take any of the receivers from Dallas. You pick your one or two. You can take Mari Cooper. You can take CeeDee Lamb. But other than that, I'm not big on this game for DraftKings for fantasy-wise.
Geoff, you always know the Panthers. What do you got?
Well, first off, I don't think I've ever in all the years I've known Arden heard him say, I like the under in this game. That is something that has never, ever said. Kind of shocked me, to be honest with you. But with that being said, Vegas is Vegas, guys. They're good at what they do for a reason. And as playing on the DFS side of stuff, we do have to take into account some of these high scoring points or point games, because that's where the score's coming from, according to people that know this and make a lot of money at it. So we say it every week. I think that if you can pick this game right, this could be the game that wins you that $1 million. Now, picking that game right is going to be a lot tougher than that. I've been big on Sam Darnold all year. I said at the beginning of the year that he's going to be a top fantasy quarterback this year, and so far he's living up to that. I do like the Sam Darnold play. Without Christian McCaffrey, they've got to do something, and Vegas obviously thinks this is going to be a high-scoring game. So, I may stack this with Sam Darnold and DJ Moore and Anderson. I don't hate the play. There's got to be points scored, so there's that.
Good call, Geoff. Robbie, do you ever call an under? Because I really do think that's the first for Arden.
So this is for people that like both college football and the NFL, and we watch them all. This is where the mind tricks start playing on you. You watch football all day yesterday, and you just see points being scored and scored and scored, and these unders look ridiculous, and you forget how much slower the college game is versus the NFL. I'm looking at these lines, 51.5, and you look up, you got over-unders in the 40s. This seems high to me also. I agree with Arden. I think unders the play. I think they're going to – both teams slow it down and play ball possession football. So I like the under too. As far as who wins, I have no idea. I think both these teams are pretty good. Darnold and the Panthers are playing really, really well. It's at Jerry World, though. This is a legit just coin toss to me. So, I mean, if I'm gambling, I'll take the points if you're going to give me points, but I wouldn't sleep tight.
I like that assessment. Now, I put us on 5 wide because there's 2 more games coming up here, and I don't think we're going to have a lot of DraftKings, but let's get your all's take. First of all, and I'll just open it up if anybody's got anything to say. The first game I talk about is the Giants at New Orleans. Let me get that line. Giants. And
Plus
New Orleans.
7.
Plus 7, 42 total. Anyone, Robbie, you're going to say something gambling-wise?
I mean, the Giants are horrible. The Saints are better coached. Are they a touchdown better? I don't know. This is, if I have to pick, I'll take the Saints by 10, but again, this is a vomit game. Like, just I don't want to watch it. I don't want any part of it. But since you asked, I'll take the Saints.
My 3 DraftKings experts. Anybody got a play out of this?
Come here. About the only play I got out of it.
I got one. I'll throw out for $3,000. Evan Ingram led their team in targets last week. Wide receiver core is beat up. I know Slayton's out. I think there's a chance another receiver misses. I do like Evan Ingram at 3,000.
Yes, Shepard's out too, so good call there.
All right, let's go on to another make you vomit game in the immortal words of Robbie Davis. Robbie, the Falcons and the Washington Redskins football team, Washington football team. Let's see what that mess is. It's Washington -1.5. Now, I'm going to give you a gambling tip. Y'all stay with me. Matter of fact, listen close. I am the voice of a high school football team. I am a graduate of the University of Tennessee. I am an Atlanta Falcons fan. My high school team won. My college team won. In 10 years of tracking it once when I was a kid, I had 2 weekends when all 3 teams won. There is no way the Falcons wins this game. The greatest play ever is the Washington football team money line or lay the points. The Falcons are going to get blown out today. Robbie Davis, now tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, the Falcons, it's the most Falcon thing possible to decide to be horrible a year that there's really no good quarterback prospects coming up. And so they're just going to miss a whole high round draft pick again. I was sitting there last week and I'm like, wait, how's Pitts not having any catches? Is he playing? The Falcons are squandering talent on talent. Yeah, I mean, at home, it's going to be a light crowd, I imagine, or they're going to be all in the Delta Club. No one sits in seats anyways. So, I think the football team's more motivated, just professionals again. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the Falcons somehow find a way to lose at home to a bad football team.
Bill, but there is some DraftKings play there.
There possibly may be, Randall. Number one, I think maybe you should start rooting for some different teams. Jeez. I haven't had that problem, actually. My favorite high school team is number 1 in the state right now. So, DraftKings on this one, I don't know. It's hard to see. I like Curtis Samuel coming back today for Washington. I think that's going to take a whole lot of heat off Terry McLaurin. And I think he's going to have a huge game. I think Henneke, for a small price, is going to have a big game today. I'm pretty sure, is he not from Atlanta? I think so. Homecoming for him. I don't know. There's not a whole lot to do in this game as far as I'm concerned. Matt Ryan has just laid an egg lately. His drop back percentage as far as yardage is terrible, probably 5 or 6 yards per drop back. And I just don't see anybody but Ridley really getting anything done for Atlanta. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm kind of staying away from this on fantasy.
Mr. Geoff Miller.
I'm fading this game. I'm so jaded by the Falcons at this point. They can't seem to get out their own way. It all started, Super Bowl 4 years ago, whatever it was.
That'll end Geoff's turn. Let's move on to
Well, I think I believe this is Ridley's week to go off. I ain't saying Atlanta wins. Football team's defense ain't been as good as everybody thought it was going to be this year. I think Calvin Ridley has a big day. If not, then he might be in trouble for the year because he ain't going to get a better chance to have a bigger day.
New rule for the show: no bringing up the Falcons in the Super Bowl ever.
I feel like I just got muted like on Around the Horn. Like
I
you
don't
just
think
totally
we're
turned me
going
off.
to have to bring up the Falcons in the Super Bowl for a long time.
But no,
Who won that game, by the way?
All right, we've got a few minutes, and we're going to try to get through it. There are 4 monster games at 4 o'clock. Let's start with Seattle, San Francisco. 52 is the total, 2.5. The Niners. These are monster games. Let's see if we can get through all 4 of them in 10 minutes.
so yeah, I mean, Seattle play everything. Russell Wilson gets his all the time. You've got both the wide receivers try to figure that one out. It seems like Lockett's gone off here more lately than Metcalf. Although I think that Metcalf has a more scoring power going forward as far as DFS goes. I wish I could figure out what's going to happen in the 49ers backfield because they're a run-first team anyways. I might take a flyer on Sermon today, see what happens. As far as the gambling side of it, I don't know about this one. I'll let that go to Robbie.
Arden.
Well, Mitchell is doubtful, so taking a fire on Sermon may not be a bad deal. They're saying Mitchell's probably not going to go in this game. Probably my biggest play in this game. Seattle's defense ain't been that good. I like Deebo Samuel and I like George Kittle for the 49ers.
Phil.
Yeah, I'm a 49ers fan, have been all my life, but I really like Seattle today. 49ers have dropped 5 in a row at home outright, and I kind of think Seattle's going to come in with a chip on their shoulder. Tyler Lockett last year in their meeting scored 33 fantasy points in one game, and the last time they played, I believe, that was the first meeting maybe, and the other one, DK Metcalf had 12 catches and 160 yards and a couple touchdowns. So I think their wide receivers are going to pose a big problem for San Fran, who is going to have trouble moving the ball today. So I really like Seattle in this game as much as I hate to say it.
Robbie Davis.
Yeah, I think either of the Seattle wide receivers are play. If Lockett and Wilson are on the same page and they find a weakness, they will light you up. Risk versus reward. Hey, I think it's going to be a lot of points scored. I think Russell goes at it. I think I like Lockett as a play, and I think Seattle wins also.
Go ahead and handicap. And if anybody, I don't think anybody's got DraftKings plays out of this next game. But let's get Robbie. We'll start with you, and then if anybody has anything else, the Ravens and Broncos a pick on total 44.
Broncos at home. Bridgewater's running an offense really well. I'm still intrigued by the Ravens and what we've seen the last couple of years. I think home field makes a difference here. It's essentially a pick 'em, 1-point spread. The Ravens are actually favored, so 3 points for the home team. Vegas thinks the Ravens are a little better. I like the home team here, and I don't know if I would play anybody from this game, though.
Well, I know Lamar Jackson's going to have a 40-burger because he's my fantasy quarterback. But besides that, anybody like anybody in this game?
Well, I think Lamar Jackson, for first 3 games this year, Jackson's thrown for over 200 and rushed for 50. So he's been very steady so far. But at his price, I really don't think you go get it. The one player I do kind of like at a small price today is Tim Patrick from the Broncos, wide receiver. He scored 12 or 13 points last week, and I think his role is increasing quite a bit, and he could be a good sleeper pick today.
Anyone else?
No,
I have nothing.
All right. We got through that one. We'll start there with Mr. Philip Dye in what I think could be an absolutely great football game. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Green Bay Packers, 45. Packers 6-point favorites. You know how I love to hold up my DraftKings and show everybody what I'm doing. So let me go ahead and just let you see who Randall's quarterback is and 75% of his DraftKings lineup. I don't know if you can see it. That focus is bad. But that's Mr. Aaron Rodgers and 75% of my lineups. Philip Dye, what do you have?
Yeah, I think Green Bay rolls in this game. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, probably the best hookup in football right now. One play I do like, though, is the Steelers with Najee Harris. The guy is catching balls out of the backfield. He's running the ball out of the backfield. And he's basically been their only offense lately. Their wide receiver core is just beat up really, really bad. I don't see them having a lot of options to go to there. Najee Harris may be the play and the only type of offense that Pittsburgh can muster today. But I like the Packers big today.
What's your shirt say? You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Fire it up, Smalls.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Phil there. The one thing I will add to it is Deontay Johnson. He gets tons of targets every week. It doesn't always translate into anything, but that is opportunities. I think if you're going to take a receiver from the Pitt side of it, Deontay Johnson is where you should go there. Like I said, he just gets tons of looks and tons of targets.
Our run back is Deontay Johnson in most lineups. Arden Scroggins.
Well, I mean, I agree about the Deontay Johnson gets a lot of targets. I really like Harris. I mean, Big Ben's lost it. He don't have the arm strength no more to throw it down the field. It don't seem like. So I think that hurts Deontay Johnson. And of course, what's not to love about Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams on the other side.
Robbie Davis, what's the handicap there? That seems like a game. I like that total.
This is, there's been the rumors all week of Rodgers wanting to go to Pittsburgh next year. I think he loves that. He loves the drama. He's going to put on a show. So I like Rodgers. I like Devontae Adams. This is, as Vols fans, as some of us are, this is the equivalent of Gruden coming to call a game in Knoxville. The rumors are going to be flying. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, they're putting on a show. I like the lineup. Get Rodgers, get Devontae Adams, overpay if you have to. I think it's a show tonight.
All right, Robbie. We'll start and end with you at the last 4:00 game, and it's a barn burner. The Cardinals and the Rams. Right now, the Rams -4. The biggest total on the board, 54.5 points. That's a big number for an NFL game.
Yeah, they're begging you to take the under, and I think the over is going to hit. This is a big number, but I think we're going to have a shootout. Kyler Murray's probably the most exciting player in football right now, but Stafford and that Rams team is probably the best team in football. So I like them to score a lot. I like Kyler to play from behind, and the Rams match everything Arizona does. So a lot of points, a lot of numbers on this game. But I like the Rams, and that 4 points, that's a tricky one. You know what? I think the Rams cover.
Arden, can we get 2 unders in a week?
No, you can't get to the in a week. I absolutely love the over in this game. I think Robbie hit the nail on the head. It's going to be a shootout. And Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford are on some wavelength together that I will have a stack with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp in it today in DFS, without a doubt. And might even run it back with a little bit of Christian Kirk with Arizona.
Geoff, your boy's throwing a lot at that one.
Stafford and Kupp. You can play anything else you want, but you have to have Stafford and Kupp.
Kupp has been the number one wide receiver all year. Stafford finally has guys to throw the football to. He's finally on a good team and gets to show what he actually is. Stafford and Kupp. That's the last time I'll say it.
I'm fading them both. Philip,
Yeah, I look at this game one way. Matthew Stafford's been the NFL Offensive Player of the Week twice, and the week that he wasn't, Kyler Murray was. Therefore, this game is definitely going under. The reason I say that, I'm going to pick this game somewhere around 27-21 Rams. I just think the Rams defense, I know both these teams have scored a lot of points, but they haven't played, or the Cardinals haven't played the Rams defense yet. Aaron Donald, one of the most amazing NFL players that you'll ever see. I just like this. I think the total's too high, and I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling, but I'm going to go with the under in this game. I'm going to take the Rams, number one, because Sean McVay has never lost to the Cardinals since he's been there.
He's also
All right,
40-0, leading at halftime.
True,
Yeah.
he is.
This will end our normal slate, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Sunday Night Football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Gillette Stadium, the house that Robert Kraft built, if you believe that. Of course, where Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, put the greatest dynasty in NFL history together since maybe the Packers in the 60s. Right now, the line is the Bucs minus 6.5, total 49.5. Philip, give me your thoughts on this game.
Well, I think everybody's thoughts on this game start with Tom Brady going back to Gillette Stadium. He's 68 yards away from breaking Drew Brees' record again that Brees took from him last year. So it's only fitting that he would do it in this stadium, I think, to become the all-time leading passer. I think that Tampa Bay's clicking right now, and I just think that they go in there. There's too much hype about the game. Brady's going to be just clicking on all cylinders, and I think New England just won't be able to stop Tampa Bay, and New England's running game will not be able to run against them. Therefore, that equals Tampa Bay winning and covering for me.
As long as you don't bring up the Super Bowl, Geoff Miller.
I won't bring it up again, Randall. I'm sorry. I mean, there's a bunch of plays here. I think one of the most impressive guys on the Tampa Bay side of it this year has been Gronk. He lost weight. He got himself back in shape. He's just looked really good all year. It's unfortunate that he's out, but keep in mind going forward that he just looks better this year. Plays from the wide receiver side of it. I can't figure this out. I never have been able to. Between Evans, Godwin, and Brown.
Godwin.
I want to say Godwin, although it to some extent it feels like an Evans day. And with that being said, Brown will go off. So I don't really know where to go there. Figure that out. That'll help you out there on Sunday night. And I don't really have much from the New England side of it. Tampa Bay's going to roll. There's just nothing to stop them. So I like Tampa Bay tonight.
Arden.
I like Tampa Bay. I mean, I just don't think New England's got it this year. Tampa Bay rolls. I think Godwin's your more consistent play this year at receiver. He seems to be getting more targets for some reason than Evans, and Brown missed a game, but Godwin just seems to be putting up steadier numbers. But I think Tampa Bay rolls, and I think in the showdown line, Fournette could be a good play.
Robbie Davis, this is your dream game. You've been hyped about this game all week.
You know, I'm not a New England fan. I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but this just oozes just drama and just everything you love about sports. Do you guys know that if Tampa wins tonight, Bill Belichick will be the 100th coach that Tom Brady has beaten. That's
nice.
Unbelievably an outrageous statistic. 100 different coaches in the NFL. There's only 32 teams, 100 different coaches. He's going to set the NFL all-time passing record in New England. He is coming out scorched earth. He is going to light them up tonight. And Bill Belichick, it's going to be like, I just don't have the tools to stop it. I can't wait.
Guys, I give you one thing that I really believe in that single game DraftKings slate. I really like Mac Jones in the single game tonight, along with Jacoby Myers. I think they found a little something there. I agree with everybody's assessment. I think it's a smoking, but I do think that in the single game, I'll probably throw that stack in there to run back. We'll go to Monday night real fast.
Wait, hold on. Wait, Randall, can I? Would New England winning tonight, would that be the biggest upset of the day, or is there another game that would surprise you more?
No, I actually in my head keep thinking somehow Belichick is going to figure out a way to win this game, and that just might be my my Super Bowl that Geoff brought up. That might be my post-traumatic stress syndrome. But I really think Houston beating Buffalo would shock me more than this. That's a 17-point line, though. But I had to look through every game to come up with one.
All right, Jets, guys. Maybe, too.
Yeah, the Jets, possibly, too.
Don't jinx my Titans with that kind of talk.
All right, last game, and we'll just do this one round table. Let's quickly, outside of Herbert owners and Raj Mehta, I don't know if anybody cares a whole lot, but I think it's a fun DraftKings day at night, Monday night. The Raiders at the L.A. Chargers, renewal of a big rivalry, -3 and a 51. Robbie, we'll start with you, and we'll go around the table real fast.
Yeah, we talked about this game on Tuesday as Randall and I both lived in Southern California for some time. It's going to be a Raiders home game. There's going to be tons and tons of Raider fans there. With that being said, I think Buffalo and the Chargers are my AFC Championship teams. I think the Chargers are really, really good. I like the Chargers at home. At least they get to dress in their locker room. So I like the Chargers, but I think it's close, and I think it goes over.
Arden Scroggins.
I like the Chargers also, and everything Justin Herbert's shown, everything you want to see out of the quarterback for 2 years. Mike Williams has stepped up. He's got Keenan Allen. Chargers just look like a well-rounded team, and I'll take the Chargers in the over also there.
Did we lose Randall?
Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I like the Raiders in this game for some reason. I'm not big on the Chargers this year. Haven't been since we started the season. Derek Carr is putting up massive numbers right now. I think he's now got 5 games with 300-plus yards. I do like Mike Williams for the Chargers this week. He's been getting a lot of targets. He's been scoring a lot of touchdowns. Justin Herbert also just usually seems to have a field day against the Raiders, so he could be a big play. I think this game's going to be close, but I think it's going to be more of a home game for the Raiders, so I'm going to take them in a close one.
Geoff Miller. Sorry, y'all. I had to check waiver wires. I did just get Curtis Samuel and Ryan Tonyan. My fantasy team got better. Geoff Miller.
I can't get over the Raiders being undefeated. It's like there's magic over there. I'm going to go with Phil on this one. I think that the Chargers are actually the better team, but the Raiders are going to find a way to pull this out like they have been here lately. So I'm going to go with the Raiders to win this one on Monday night.
Robbie Davis, I got one more thing for you before we wrap it up. You love everyday waivers, and not everybody's got 17 wide receivers on their fantasy team like you.
Hey, the commissioner is in my living room right now. I will tell him as soon as we get off here how stupid the daily waivers are. I did not vote for it.
Guys, this was a really good victory formation. I think we had a nice mix of gambling and daily fantasy and college football. This was almost like a real show, except for the host who was eating cereal if nobody noticed. I pulled that off. I did really good. Final comment from anybody? Robbie.
Yeah, so yesterday, just as I was getting ready for Vols basketball season and reading the practice reports and gearing up for that, what happened? Oh, a little bit of hope. Josh Heupel and the Volunteers roll into Mizzou and smoke them, and gives me a little bit of hope to stay tuned from football season where we should be going to a bowl game. I don't have any unrealistic chance of Georgia or Alabama, but we should beat Carolina. We should beat Kentucky. Be close. We should beat Vandy and South Alabama. We're going to get to a bowl game, extra practices. Let's see what Heupel does the rest of the year. Hope is back in the air.
We'll take a victory over 62 on Missouri, and we'll ride that for a while.
Yes.
Arden Scroggins,
Well,
you got?
my last words are 99-0 over 2 weeks. Go Dogs.
Geoff Miller.
Go Vols, go Braves.
I'm glad somebody brought the Braves up. Of course, we are a football-based show, but Philip Dye.
Yeah, I'm going to leave everybody with a little bit of trivia today. Tonight, Tom Brady could beat New England, and that would be the 32nd team he has beaten. And he's beaten every team on the road except for one other besides New England. That would be the Seattle Seahawks. So that's the only thing he has left to do.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yes, sir.
Final word from me is I do think SEC football, there is not a better show in the world. I said it, and this will be my final thought. I'll head to church after getting out. I started this year so jaded with Josh Heupel that I feel like I should be in an abuse shelter when it comes to college football coaches. I've been through it all. And I started the year going, I am not going to start believing in this guy. I'm not going to care. And yesterday, I found myself talking to a friend during the game going, look how fast that offense goes. Nobody can keep up with that pace. Look at that. That's something different and special. I officially got a Josh Heupel man crush yesterday. It took 5 weeks into the season. So that's it. So, all right, everybody. May everybody win $1 million and have fun. Victory formation is gone.